It is Wednesday, 3/14/2018. It is 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, and so you know what time it is. It's time for a little bit of coin metal. And oh my goodness, it was a very painful get your ass kicked at Jiu-Jitsu Wednesday. I was rolling with a gentleman that I typically roll with because he's about the right size. He's about, I don't know, I want to say he's like an inch, maybe two taller than me, but he's got me only by about like 10, maybe 20 pounds. And so we're both around the same body type, body size. And so we do make a pretty good match. Every once in a while he gets me though, and today was one of those days. We were doing some sparring, some positional sparring, and just pass keep. And somehow or another, on my left foot, I was on my knees. Somehow, on my left foot, my two of my toes got crossed, and I was like on them. And then he like pushed, and it hurt a lot. So I'm icing it right now, and hopefully it doesn't take me out of commission. You know, it feels like I might have twisted it pretty significantly. It was not a graceful exit. But yeah, hopefully it you know, I still got really good mobility on it. I can feel that dull throbbing pain you get when you really worked a tendon or some shit like that. You know what I mean? There's just that dull, faint, like unspecified throbbing kind of pain. And you know, I told him when I did it, I'm like, you know, and he's like, oh, you want to stop? And I'm like, well, you know, I haven't broken my foot off, so no, let's keep going. And I found out right away that I could not hold him in my guard from one side because it just hurt way too much to have my legs crossed one way. So I tried it the other way, and it worked just fine. So I still have a guard, I just don't have two guards. But yeah, so you know, let it be a lesson to you. Jiu-Jitsu hurts occasionally. It's not all fun and games. And I came to that realization a long time ago with my first significant injury. I was like, well, you know, this isn't ballet, so kind of expect things like that to happen, you know. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. The best you can do is try to avoid it and or minimize the risk of it happening. That's the best you can do. Anyway, you know, I think the reason why I opened this show with Jiu-Jitsu is because a lot of the lessons that can be learned in Jiu-Jitsu can be easily applied in the cryptosphere. You know, there's always a way somebody's trying to get you. You know, there are ways to achieve victory. You know, but it teaches us to deal with pressure and the different types of pressure. Ones you can ignore, ones that are possibly just superfluous and easily disregarded because you know there's a deeper strike to be made. But as for the subject matter for today, we're probably going to be talking about some newer coins. You know, just all this talk about regulation and whatnot, it got me wondering, you know, it's like, is anybody trying to develop and release new coins? And I don't mean ERC20 tokens and other Ethereum jerk-offs. I mean like real coins. And so we're going to try and answer that question today and possibly talk about some of the newer projects. I do have some other stuff that got open in the old browser that we'll be talking about today, but yeah, that's basically where I'm wanting to concentrate today, is more on new stuff other than ERC20 tokens. And as far as music, because you know we haven't done our first dance yet, I'm not entirely certain what I want to throw on there. Fuck it, Freak on a Leash, Korn, here on Coin Metal. And that was Prong with Out of This Misery. And getting ready to take the ice off the old foot right now, and I'm feeling like tomorrow will probably be one of those feelings where I'm like, take me out of this misery. Yeah, because by then it'll be nice and swollen and all that shit. Well, I don't think it's like really terrible. It just doesn't feel very good. Anyway, I did want to get into some newer coins today. It seems like everybody's really focusing on regulation and whatnot, and that's something that does deserve its airtime, but I think it takes away from the perspective I favor in cryptocurrencies, that we're all supposed to be a part of this shit, and we're supposed to be able to remain part of this shit instead of relegating it off to other people to handle. And so yeah, I did a little bit of studying around here to see what I could find, and I kept hearing this fucking word, and I have my own perspectives with regard to cryptocurrencies and the association with other commodities or things of value or things held as value. So the idea of things like dollar-pegged cryptocurrencies, to me it's fucking fallacy. One way or another, you're going to be in arrears, either on the crypto side or on the dollar side. One of the two. You just can't do it. Same thing with oil, same thing with gold, same thing with diamonds. When people start talking about commodity-backed cryptocurrencies, I start rolling my eyes. Because these people are already talking about a currency that will by default be defaulted. I mean, there's no other way around it. You're going to debase it. If you don't absolutely have to have a direct, or if there is no way to have a direct association and accounting of both your cryptocurrency and the associated commodity, forget about it. And you're already talking about two things that could be separately transacted. You don't necessarily have to transact the oil with the cryptocurrency, or buy or sell it in that cryptocurrency. Because you're not restricted in that way. We're not valuing cryptocurrencies and commodities on like an effort-based system. I mean, I think that's like the closest you could get to it is you look at the energy input for, say, drilling oil or digging gold, and you contrast it versus the same for Bitcoin. And there you could determine a real, quote-unquote, peg. But associating a volume of oil or using a volume of oil as the base for your cryptocurrency, forget about it. It's fucking bullshit. I mean, because you have no real accounting for how much oil you will actually pull out of the ground. You don't. You can have all kinds of tested reserves, and you can have all of the ground scans and everything, but it might get too expensive to drill for it at some point or another, because of failures or glitches elsewhere in the energy economy. And what's that going to do to your coin? Or worse yet, they figure out another way to get oil. All of a sudden you go through another Venezuelan moment where they discovered fracking and widely deployed fracking here in the United States and elsewhere. Fuck, they flooded the market. Why the Saudis are not like crawling around with rags covering them right now is beyond me, other than their association with the US dollar. But if they were tied to the Venezuelan Bolivar, they would either be playing the dollar game, or they too would be drowning in their own debt, which they are right now. So, you see how it works. So anyway, I got this coin here, and like I said, I kept hearing this fucking word, and every time I heard it, my eyes just immediately rolled. Stablecoin. If you hear somebody say stablecoin, They're lying through their fucking teeth. There is no way to have a quote-unquote stable coin. I don't even give a fuck if you're basing it on energy consumption versus the value of the coin, or as the value of the coin. There is no such thing as a stable coin. Anyway, so here it is. A decentralized price-stable cryptocurrency management system. This is Alchemint version 0.9.2. And I think we'll be able to get through all... Oh, maybe not. It's 2 out of 67 pages. Fuck it. We'll try, because the pages look really big. I mean, like, page 1 here has 2 legitimate paragraphs on it. Anyway, continuing on. Summary. As the white paper of Alchemint came out, it was a time when the capital markets were full of devastation in the world. Bitcoin won a 60% discount during the mid-February cryptocurrency plummeted across the board. The arithmetic formula of the US stock market plummeted deeply, and the Chinese A shares also suffered heavy losses. After years of curiosity, questioning, and even opposition to new technologies and new ideas, the technological revolution triggered by the blockchain has been quietly rewriting the global economic algorithms. It is very quiet for the evolution of human civilization before every transition. This time is no exception. The Alchemint team is fortunate enough to be peers and supporters, with peers and supporters around the world to share our understanding of blockchain technology, exploration of stable price in cryptocurrencies, and attempts to link the crypto economy to the real. Just as we believe that mankind is looking forward to find more advanced civilization, freedom, and beauty. Okay. I can tell this was actually authored in another language. Alright. Table of contents. Yeah, we can go through it. Well, that's 2 pages down. Part 1. Preface. Opportunities and challenges of encrypted digital currency. Preface. Opportunities and challenges of cryptocurrency. Introduction of cryptocurrency and stablecoin. Bitcoin was still the king of cryptocurrency world in 2017, which derived from the open source operating system released by Satoshi Nakamoto in its academic article, Bitcoin, a point-to-point electronic cash system. It rushed to the highest point of $19,110.24 in less than 9 years, having 10 million-fold increase from its beginning. Bitcoin not only has the function of payment interfacing with the real world, but also has tremendous revolutionary value in the market through its more secure transfer function arising from its own cryptography structure as a kind of cryptocurrency. As a team formed by entrepreneurs who study finance and advocate the Austrian school, the core founders had some study in the currency market. We felt surprised and shocked when we recognized the appearance of Bitcoin at the first time, then transformed to calm down and think about the evolution and development of currencies during the new economic era. In fact, the success of Bitcoin is well grounded, as its applied blockchain and cryptography techniques reflect the properties of currency and even naturalize the weaknesses of legal tender. Oh, what? Hold on a second here. Okay, yeah, legal tender. Its success is supported by the economic theories which suggest to competitive currencies to issue competitive currency in order to curb inflation proposed by Hayek's literature, the non-state currency. Furthermore, it involves people's continuous exploration and application towards electronic payment, cryptography, and computer algorithms since the advancement of internet technologies appeared in the last decades. We are excited to witness that some great companies, including Google, Apple, Alibaba, and Tencent, triggered by the internet technologies in the end of the last century, has changed the lifestyles of people. We also foresee that the blockchain technology will reconstruct the value system in the world, change the organizational structure of society, and influence the productive approaches through the innovative production tools. Currently, as the blockchain has evolved into 3.0 era, it develops from the conceptual framework of the basic chain to a wide range of applications in the financial and non-financial fields. As a result, the Internet of Value, predicted by KK in his article Out of Control, has emerged. The market value of all digital currencies has exceeded the number of trillions that of the most well-known digital currencies, including Bitcoin and Litecoin, reach 100 billion. In addition, the value of NEO tends to reach the level of billions as well. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and NEO have become the mainstream currencies in the cryptocurrency world gradually. I've never used NEO. Got some charts here. Continuing. However, as there is no perfect thing in the world, when cryptocurrencies become the alternatives of investment and usage for people, they lead to new and huge emerging gaps for financial and commercial services. For example, the financial services such as credit and asset securitization on the blockchain lack stable medium of exchange. A question is proposed that how to realize the payment and the value transfer in the business cases when the price of cryptocurrency fluctuates dramatically. Stablecoin emerges at the right moment. Alchemint team has found that people pursue a variety of characteristics which, equipped by the stablecoin during our communication with a huge amount of general investors and suppliers of commercial services last year, even they have not used the term of stablecoin. Yeah, that's because they're smart. I plan to build a website that supports to shop by using digital currencies, and I has been upset about unstable currencies for a long time. Thus, we always desire that the public chain can generate a kind of currency that anchoring legal currency. Yeah, it's not going to happen. If the price is not so volatile, I think our travel entertainment services can use digital currency. Mr. Z. The first one was attributed to a Luna. The first one, and the next one is Mr. Z. We have received hundreds of questions from users and investors on our Twitter account when it opens. We have to say there is no more exciting thing than an entrepreneurial project was urged by users. Thus, we do not have any reason that not to do better. Oh, okay. As a financial entrepreneur who have a firm belief in the future of the blockchain industry, Alchemint hopes to provide a system for all users that creates a stable coin based on digital asset reserves, ergo, NEO, Ethereum, etc. As if it were a stable anchor to fulfill the function of magnifying, balancing, transferring, and exchanging value between the digital currency and the legal currency world. The system will serve all demands of potential users for stablecoin in the world including investors in digital currencies, consumers holding digital currencies who want to buy goods and services, and providers of digital financial services, etc. In this white paper, the writers of the Alchemint team make efforts to avoid complicated terms and uncommon vocabularies, and we try to explain Alchemint's philosophy, product features, our technology development, and community development plan in simple and plain language. Alchemint believes that we have transformed in an era of globalization and unboundedness, an era that focuses on intangible things such as information, ideas, and relationships, which are closely linked with each other. We look forward to inviting more investors, collaborators, and users who understand and support the concept of Alchemint to build a community ecology. Blockchain is a new industry. We recognize the technology of the whole industry is not mature enough, and Alchemint's technology is not the greatest in the world. However, we have a united and pragmatic team that has a common philosophy and works in harmony. With a good starting point for technology, the rest is to improve continuously in the progress of development. We also hope Alchemint will contribute some new innovations and breakthroughs to the development of the community, the digital currency service, and the blockchain technology in practice. 1.2. Why does price-stable cryptocurrency matter? Cryptocurrency is a kind of currency that has never been emerged in the history of human beings before. The advent of Bitcoin has led to several charming characteristics of currency in the following aspects. Security. Bitcoin has truly realized that the private property cannot be violated by everyone technologically. If you have a private key, you possess the absolute ownership of the account. As long as your private key is not revealed, no one can take away your Bitcoin, and no one can seize or block your Bitcoin as well. Not yet. They're working on it. Hold costs. Whether you have 1 Bitcoin or 10,000 Bitcoin, the costs are the same and very low. You only have to think of ways to keep your private keys safe. Like guys with guns. Payment costs. Bitcoin is a point-to-point cash system based on distributed ledger technology of blockchain. Paying someone Bitcoin is as easy as sending an email that does not rely on third parties, yet. You can pay Bitcoin anywhere in the world with the same speed and low cost. With regard to that little insertion of mine, I don't regard that as a certainty. It's just a possibility at the moment. Continuing on. On other hands, Bitcoin has great advantages due to its characteristics that one currency should have, such as stability, and can be arbitrarily partitioned. Because of these reasons, enthusiasts not only hope Bitcoins can execute more currency functions, but also hope it can become an approach of payment into the commercial circulation. For example, enthusiasts will pay Bitcoin to buy coffee in their cafes, and we also see some commercial agencies are exploring and promoting the usage of Bitcoin as an approach of payment, such as Japan's Bitflyer. CoinCheck, represented by Exchange Model, and BitPay, represented by the middleman model in the United States. However, the phenomenon of cafes can only be viewed as the attempts by some of the enthusiasts, as the transaction volume is almost negligible, so it cannot be promoted as a business mode in large scale. I don't know why. In addition, actually, the exchange mode and middleman mode only bear the risk of price fluctuations through a centralized institution. Although some measures can be taken to stabilize the fluctuations, once the scale of the transaction is enlarged, the institution will be exposed under enormous risks. At the same time, the merchants receive the converted legal currency instead of Bitcoin. For the user, he will see a constantly changing price of the product, which is a very bad experience. We can predict that this mode cannot be promoted effectively in a large scale. The reason for this is mainly due to the issuance mechanism of Bitcoin and the rule of constant total amount, which leads to a huge fluctuation in the purchasing power of general goods and services. And one thing on that point, and something none of these white papers talk about, the price of Bitcoin is actually an exchange rate between two competing currencies. When its price goes down, the value has stayed with the currency that it's being valuated in. When it goes up in value, there's more confidence on the side of Bitcoin than there is on the currency that it's being exchanged for. So when it shoots up to $20,000 per Bitcoin, some of that is speculation, some of that is blue aviation, but a lot of it is actually price slippage due to confidence loss in the dollar. And you guys have to pay attention to what the Fed does. If the Fed says that they are going to increase the interest rates, that's when you will see the price of Bitcoin drop. Why? Because it's more profitable to hold your money in US dollars. When they talk about stimulus, when they talk about quantitative easing, these are times when you'll want to be shifting into Bitcoin because Bitcoin will go up in relative value to US dollars. And not just on the books as far as we can tell with regard to the Federal Reserve and their rate of issuance, which we don't know, but also on the Bitcoin side. And that's something I think a lot of people miss about Bitcoin, is that they're released deterministically. I mean, roughly once every 10 minutes, more Bitcoin are released. I mean, that's a pretty consistent rate of release. So, I mean, if anything should be quote-unquote stable, it should be Bitcoin. But it's optional whether or not we want to hold our value in Bitcoin, so we don't always hold our value in Bitcoin. We flip it back and forth. We look out for our own interests, as we should, as consumers and investors. Continuing on. Huge fluctuation in the purchasing power of general goods and services. The modern economy is far more complicated than tribal economy or village economy at this early time. For a large economy, if we choose a stuff which has constant total amount as a currency, it will inevitably cause a deflationary spiral in the economy that everyone begins to hoard money. The more valuable the money is, the lower the price of output. The lower the price of output is. The result of the declining output would be a drop in wages and demand of consumption, which results in further. That's complete bullshit. When your dollars have more buying power, you buy stuff with them, which results in a future decline, a further decline in the price of output, and eventually it will lead to a collapse of the economy. Therefore, even though Bitcoin has excellent characteristics, it is not suitable for using as a circulated currency in major economies. In fact, the legal tender could support economies effectively because it is endorsed by national credit and can be used to adjust market failure through macro monetary policies. Yeah, they got the on-off switch on the printer. However, since the total amount of Bitcoin is constant, it becomes scarcer than legal tender, which has increasing supply. Thus, it becomes a popular commodity as an investment, which results in the unstable price of Bitcoin compared with legal tender. Moreover, the volatile price seems to be a common feature of all cryptocurrencies. Any currency should have three characteristics: unit of account, medium of exchange, and store value. We believe that only the currency which has stable price and has the above three features can be accepted widely. In terms of a currency that has a huge volatile price, it is almost impossible to have any function in circulation except as an investment or a subject of speculation. It can be assumed that as long as the volatility of price cannot be solved, cryptocurrency will not be able to be used in daily payments and commercial applications in large scale. Bunch of bullshit, but anyway, continuing. Alright. 1.3. Price stable cryptocurrency in commercial application. Stablecoin is the basic requirement for the most decentralized applications, which enables the market of Alchemint to have infinite potential. As a stablecoin factory, Alchemint can be used as a decentralized leveraged trading platform. In addition, the ecological environment that's built by Alchemint, the potential customers that can use our services immediately include digital asset exchanges. In the process of transaction, the bourse needs a kind of price-stable asset as a hedging tool in bearish markets. Bitcoin is clearly not suitable as the tool in digital asset exchanges that only provide digital currency services. The stablecoin, which can become the basic asset, could provide trading pairs and measure a price to other digital assets such as Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Ethereum. Financial services based on blockchain. Due to the huge volatility of price, currently digital currency is not suitable to be applied in even the most basic financial contracts. You cannot imagine that you borrowed a Bitcoin 1 year ago, $8,000 of Bitcoin, and when you need to pay back 1.2 Bitcoin after the contractual agreement, the price of Bitcoin has risen to $20,000, which is a huge loss to those who borrow it. While the blockchain as the value of the internet is most closely related to finance, there is limited applications in practice. We believe that financial services based on blockchain will be developed with the popularization of digital currency that has stable prices. Dude, this shit is so circular. I'm sorry. Applicable service provider. Applicable service provider refers to enterprises that offer a variety of applicable payment based on blockchain technology to organizations and users. They provide payment access of digital wallets for enterprises such as Uber and Amazon's, tourism, retail, and property management companies help digital currency holders to pay for their consumption and live services conveniently. In the gaming industry, in terms of predictions of betting, people do not want to bet on a cryptocurrency that does not have a stable price, especially for those who make a bet on price fluctuation in future, as gambling cannot be kept in long term. There's something really being lost in translation here, I gotta say. Entertainment providers also do not want to choose volatile digital currencies to bet. Therefore, cryptocurrency that has a stable price is a natural alternative to users that predict market and gaming. Circulating currencies in unstable countries. For some third world countries, the local currency is facing some serious inflation due to the instability of the regime. For example, Venezuela's inflation rate surpassed 700% in 2017. Local residents use US dollars as their circulating currency in these countries, but the usage of US dollars as an approach of payment is also very inconvenient due to the lack of financial services. The digital currency that can be anchored to the price of US dollars would enable local residents to complete their payments as long as they have an access to internet and a mobile phone. Yeah, what if they don't have any money to pay for that? Then they're fucked, right? Continuing on. Stablecoin can be as a token instead of other tokens, such as Ethereum, to raise, can be used. You forgot used, dude. As a token instead of other tokens, such as Ethereum, to raise funds for project in order to effectively reduce the risk of price fluctuations for the project sponsor. You know what? I'm done. I want to continue on, but I'm I'm like having a lot of trouble because all of the language that I'm reading here is very, very circular. Okay, we need a stable coin because everybody will invest in a stable coin, and if they invest in a stable coin, they'll use a stable coin instead of Ethereum, which it's based on. Well, won't that cut back demand on Ethereum? And if it cuts back on demand for Ethereum, won't that also decline the price of Ethereum? I mean, because everybody wants the stablecoin instead of Ethereum, right? Because it retains the value better than Ethereum, right? This shit doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense. Why am I going to use a currency that's a quote-unquote stablecoin as a speculative investment? If it's a stablecoin, it retains its relative value no matter what. So why am I going to use it as an investment? I want something that surpasses its current value. Because if it surpasses its current value, then I make money on it. See how that works? Anyway. I'll kind of skip ahead just a teeny tiny. End user. All the general users who need to use the stablecoin can enjoy the convenience of stablecoin in the digital financial ecosystem. I don't know what that means. The attempt for price stable cryptocurrency solution. Since stablecoin are so important, we can see some solutions that have emerged in the industry with three modes. Centralized collateralization model, IOU mode. Tether, which, you know what, I'm done. Done! I can't do it. I guess this is my big problem with crypto at this time, is that all of these projects that should be acting as new coins, or if there are going to be new coins, they should be like standalone projects, kind of like they were back in like 2014, 2015 when we had our first altcoin boom. We just went for it. We didn't worry about whether or not there was going to be a market for it. We didn't worry about attaching it to other things of value to make it valuable. We just fucking made the coin and said, hey, check this coin out. Check this wallet out. It's better than the other guys. You should try it out. See what you think. And I'm seeing less and less of that and more of this. Oh, hey, we've got this Ethereum-based coin that is stacked on top of Ethereum and is based on Ethereum, but it's a stable coin. It's a stable coin that we can probably create as many as we want, anytime we want. But we're not really going to tell you that because that's how we maintain the stability of the variation between the price of our coin and the underlying currency you want to value it in. Now, here's my problem with it. how is it going to work in contrast to other currencies? So say you've got US dollars, right? Are you using just US dollars as your base? What if I want to get paid out in euros? What if I want to get paid out in yen? Or heaven forbid, Venezuelan bolivars? What if I want to get paid out in one of those currencies? Is it still a stable coin then? Do I get as much in monetary value regardless of which fiat currency I'm having it cashed out in? And how are you going to guarantee that over time? You know, if I buy the stable coin and I hold the stable coin, how are you going to maintain the same valuation of the stable coin I buy if the price of one of the underlying one of the underlying currencies, be it Ethereum, Bitcoin, or whatever coin, versus the fiat currency that I'm trading it against, that I'm seeking to correct the volatility for? How is it going to maintain its stability over time? Especially when there's actual economic facts like, oh, I don't know, there's 8 more million fucking ICOs stacked on top of Ethereum, so that increases its relative valuation. Then you have the US dollar, which, assuming you're using that as your base for your pairing, it's fluctuating in value because of the policies of the Fed and their current volume of printing. And then there's also the release mechanism for both Ethereum and your coin. If you create more volume of your coin, are you going to be burning more volume of your coin in the future to offset any loss in value due to price contraction of value in either Ethereum or US dollars? Well, really. How are you going to be accounting for the dynamism of the global economy and your currency in relation to it? These are the facts that I think these people just ignore. It's like, people tell them this stuff and it goes in one ear and out the other. Oh, we could just print more coins. We could just burn coins, and we can print coins, and we can associate the coins with diamonds and gold and pyrite and Bitcoin and another cryptocurrency that can fluctuate in value and crash on us too. I mean, Jesus Christ. I don't really think these people know what they're doing. They're just saying a bunch of words and people throw money at them because it sounds right. I mean, really, that's about how it feels to me, that it's kind of devolving into meaninglessness in hopes that you'll lose the meaning behind the other currencies, the ones that actually have work behind them. And I've been warning about this kind of thing for a while now, that we're going to have a GR Bufu event. And whether it's... I'm starting to wonder whether or not Ripple will be the underlying catalyst, but I'm starting to think it'll be a stable coin, whether that be an Ethereum-based quote stable coin or somebody else. But I think it'll be an ERC20 token, and it'll be one of these that's supposed to be a quote unquote stable coin. Whether it be Tether or I guess this something Mint or whatever the fuck. I don't know. I just closed the browser tab. I couldn't do it fast enough. We'll just say that. Anyway, I think this is another one of those cases where it's like people that don't really understand what Bitcoin was meant to serve, or what function it was meant to serve, are creating these projects. Either that, or worse yet, they know exactly what the fuck they're doing, and they're doing it with purpose. Either way, I don't really see it working over time. Mostly because people that are in cryptocurrency, or at least proof of work cryptocurrencies, they understand exactly what they're doing here. They understand why they're operating here. If they've been here since before 2014, they certainly know exactly why they're here. And I don't think that's going to change even if Bitcoin keeps whipsawing, even if it goes back down to 1,000. I don't see that changing. But that's just my feeling on it. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. And we had some Megadeth playing in the background there for a moment, but we've already played Megadeth. And we may play a little bit more later on, but not right now. I'm feeling the need for some Sixth. And I always get kind of dodgy when I just want to click on just any one of the songs. But they do these spoken words, like songs, I guess. And I'm always afraid that I'm going to click on one of those instead of one where they actually do regular music. But we know this one is safe, so here it is. Golden Cufflinks by Sixth, here on Coin Metal. And that was Helmet with Life or Death. And, so yeah, sorry about bailing out on that white paper, but I can only see so much circular reasoning before I'm just like, I lose all interest. It's like, they need A because they want A, and they'll want A because they need A. No. No. I mean, in an economy of one where you are the thing between it and that, okay, maybe. But we're not in an economy anymore where we're restricted to that choice. And I don't really foresee a time when we will be. I think that the capabilities of cryptocurrencies can be satisfied with much lower energy input than we have in Bitcoin. I think we can support, global payment networks with less than, quadra terahertz or terahashes or whatever the fuck it's up to now. I'm not even familiar with the term. I think the last one I familiarized myself with was petahash. And I'm sure that, or exahash, that was it. That was the highest one that I'd oriented myself with. Anyway, there you can do a global network on less than several exahashes worth of hashing power. Okay, you can do it. It can be done. But because we're not restricted solely to Bitcoin, and I don't think we ever really will be, it'll give that additional dimension. It's like, look, we can achieve everything that you can achieve with Bitcoin with 1/10 of the energy consumption, 1/10 of the hardware. But of course, saying that won't actually keep it that way forever. It'll get more expensive over time as more participants get involved and the coins get distributed to more people. That's just going to happen. So this idea that you're going to get rid of volatility, you're not going to get rid of volatility. The way to get around all of this is very, very simple. It's very simple. What you do is you offer the ability of your manufacturers to be paid directly with cryptocurrency for sending the product to somebody else. Like you provide storefronts. I mean, if you want to provide some sort of marketplace, you would have to, again, compete with like Amazon and whatnot. But if you did it exclusively in cryptocurrency, you could cut out a lot of the accounting that you actually have to do, because more or less you're just a facilitator of the transaction. And this is Ross Ulbricht's model, okay? That there's an agreed upon price, Party A is sending Party B a fixed amount of product at a fixed price at the moment of purchase, and everybody was happy. Everybody happy. Because the Bitcoin guys, the guys buying stuff with Bitcoin were happy because they had a market now. They could use their Bitcoin as money to buy something that they actually wanted. And then on the other side, you had people who had substance or service or whatever. Now they have an additional market of people, of customers, potential customers, that they have access to. And it's really only their willingness to participate with those people that was the barrier. You know, this whole idea that it's difficult to transact with Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, it's not. It's easier than any other fucking currency you've ever used. It's more accountable than any currency you've ever used. The difference is getting people that want to sell stuff, manufacturers and service providers, to take cryptocurrencies as a medium of payment. Now, I think the mistake that is being made by a lot of businesses is this assumption that you need to retain the currency for any duration of time. You can use it just like a fucking check or just like a wire. And sure, there's going to be some exchange friction there, but if you're selling a high enough volume of your product for it, it really wouldn't matter to you. You can just fluctuate. You can just adjust for it based on that. But again, the only thing you're really worried about is the instant the transaction clears. That should be the valuation. That should be the exchange rate that you are given of the currency. So, you know, with Bitcoin, it takes, you know, just say for optimal circumstances, the block wasn't full when you did the transaction, and it actually went through within the 10-minute interval and got confirmed. Now you have the certainty that the transaction has been confirmed. It's not going to take you only 10 minutes to get it to the person you're trying to sell it to. It's going to take longer than that. So chances are you will have had multiple confirmations before they receive the product. By the time the product is in transit, and that could be verified via whatever packing system or you know, say you're using DHL or UPS or any of these other people, they have tracking systems. When you complete the transaction, of course, there will be a tracking number associated with the transaction and the product. And so the purchaser can verify, hey, Joe Blow sent me the tangerines that I ordered. They are in transit right now. They should be received within the 2 days that, you know, the specialized shipping method has called for. Joe Blow is happy because he's gotten his Bitcoin. He could either roll it over right then for $4 or bolivars or whatever it is that he transacts with locally on an exchange. And if he did that enough times, I'm sure that he could work out something with the exchange where they have like a business account or something like that, where, you know, for a minor fee, you experience a lower amount on the fee. Or like you pay a lower percentage for your transaction fee. And this would lower your friction with receiving and converting your payments over to your fiat currency that would then be deposited in a bank or whatever. And I think this is the model that if we saw more adoption of in that sense, rather than, you know, people trying to create these interface coins where you're going to interface with, forget about it. Use your local currency as the valuing barometer for it. And you know what? There's going to be transnational arbitrage. There's going to be cross-exchange arbitrage. People are going to make money selling their money. And you know what? So what? If you have the money when you need the money, use the money. Don't hodl it. I mean, sure, it might be worth more later on, but that's later on. And you got to survive now to get to later on. Anyway, I diverged vastly there. And I'm going to do a quick refresh on this webpage because it's CoinDesk and they've got a little price thing here. And it looks like Bitcoin's at $79.1236. Ethereum's at $589.98. Bitcoin Cash $892.85. Litecoin $154.99. XRP 65 cents. Yep. It's a tough one, but it's going to happen. We're going to have some up, we're going to have some down, and if you call yourself an expert, I'll call you a clown. I came up with that and tweeted that earlier. And that's pretty much how I feel about it. I think there are people that are more knowledgeable about this space, but I don't think anybody is so educated that they could really definitively predict what Bitcoin's price will do tomorrow or the next day or even over a month. I mean, I make guesses, and sometimes I'm wrong. I have to readjust. It does happen, but that's just how this is a little bit different than conventional markets. I mean, the action is the same. Price goes up here, price goes down there. That's all the same, and you're trying to make money in that exchange, But I think crypto is a little bit different in that there are multiple exchanges throughout the planet that have their own valuations, and so the exchange between those, a significant sum of money can be made. I think you guys probably remember back when we were at 6,000 the first time. I think it was, actually I don't even think we were that high. I think we were at like 2,000, maybe 3,000. But in Zimbabwe, Bitcoin was trading for as high as $10,000 worth of their local currency. You can't tell me somebody couldn't make some fucking international arbitrage there if you were to hook up with the right people that would allow you to legally facilitate that transaction of liquidity into their local economy. I'm sure that you could have made a significant sum of money during that time, and I think that's going to happen repeatedly until we really get quote-unquote decentralized exchanges that are completely independent of any nation state or whatever, and you can participate in them regardless of where you are. That'll be the change that's necessary. Anyway, I got this article here on CoinDesk. Anheuser-Busch owner pilots blockchain for shipping. I wonder if this will make their truck drivers drink any less of their beer on the way to wherever it's going. Anyway, let's see. This is written March 15th, 2018 by Wolfie Zhao. 4 UTC, I'm assuming that's 4 AM UTC, whatever UTC is. And yes, penis. The parent company of beer maker Anheuser-Busch has taken part in a blockchain pilot in a bid to test the technology for global shipping uses. The company is part of a wider blockchain consortium that experimented with technology developed by consulting firm Accenture. Other participants included shipping container firm APL, logistics company Keen Nagel, and an unnamed European customs organization. The pilot saw the companies involved use Accenture's solution for 12 real-world shipments, all of which were sent to a different jurisdiction that each carried its own particular regulatory requirements. The results, quote, confirmed that blockchain can reduce operating costs and increase supply chain visibility, according to Accenture. Daniel Figueiredo, Vice President of International Logistics for AB InBev, quote, we continually evaluate new technologies and innovations to enhance our operations to meet consumer needs and deliver the freshest beer. Blockchain technology will be transformational to our business and the world. It reduces mistakes, digitizes information, and improves the supply chain process so we can focus on our core business of brewing the best beers for consumers. I can't remember the last time I drank a Budweiser or other beer from InBev, at least not knowingly. The pilot marks the latest effort to shift from a traditionally paper-based process to a wholly digitized one, using the tech as part of an effort to streamline the data sharing process between different shareholders. Among the companies that have pursued similar applications are the Japanese shipping firm Mitsui. OSK Lines announced a partnership with IBM in a proof of concept that looks to streamline the global trade flow. Last year, the Danish shipping giant Maersk completed its first live blockchain trial. Like Mitsui OSK, Maersk also worked with IBM, levering the open source Fabric blockchain software. Cool. See, I see that as a perfectly good internal usage of a quote-unquote blockchain. However, not to really mess anybody up here or anything like that, but from what I understand, Accenture has a quote-unquote editable blockchain. I'm not 100% sure on that. I might have to look that up. You might want to Google that. Check and verify. Check and verify. Check and verify. But anyway, Accenture editable blockchain. So it's not really as transparent as Bitcoin is. And so there can be manipulations and changes along the way, but I would say this, it's a lot less prone to that possibility than previously. And so, like I said, this kind of thing for a quote-unquote use case for Bitcoin or other cryptocurrency, I think it's perfectly valid. However, I think if you really want to make this fun, InBev, what you will do is make your miners public. Okay? Make your mining public. Release InBev coin. Write up a fucking white paper. Alright? We will do your fucking mining for you. Because we really don't give a fuck about the shipping product, okay? What we care about is the profitability of mining your fucking coin. Can you see where I'm going with this? You give that coin an exchange rate with Bitcoin, and now we're talking business, fucker. Now we're talking fun. And I'm not talking about this ICO bullshit. I'm not talking about a fucking ERC20 token. I'm talking about your own fucking coin. You want to have your own blockchain? Have your own motherfucking coin. Your own mineable coin. Make it public. Like I said, if you make the profit the profit motivation higher than the cheating motivation, which I don't see how you could fucking lose with a beer coin. I really don't. All of these pot coins came out, and they had that idea in mind. And the only problem with them was lack of distribution, lack of proper presentation. Now, you're a huge multinational fucking company. It should not be that hard to figure out how your local municipalities respond to cryptocurrencies and how interested they may be in participating in them. If they love your company so much, they would willingly support it by dedicating hardware, electricity, and bandwidth to the mining of your coin. And think about this. If we're mining your coin, and we're mining your blockchain, and we're keeping all your shit, all your tracking shit safe and all that, and it's public, so it's not something that's going to be editable, and you will have a copy of the blockchain. You will be able to verify shit down to the single bottle of beer on your blockchain. Why wouldn't you adopt that? Think about the electricity costs that would save you. The server farms that you probably have or are renting space from, the necessity for that would go away. You'd only have to host copies of your blockchain. You'd probably want to be a miner. Of course, a significant miner. But again, if your coin is trading on the open market, chances are it will appreciate, much like Bitcoin has. And I mean, there's more than enough markets out there that if you could make a legitimate cryptocurrency, like maybe you would want to go with one that is capless, only because your potential output of beer is more or less capless. I mean, there are certain constraints, but they are changing every day. So like I said, I think this is the right technology. I think it's the wrong application, though. I think the way you should be utilizing it is the way you're using it on your end. But open up the mining of it to us. I think you'll be quite surprised with the outcome. I mean, for one thing, I think you make a shit ton of money. I mean, your beer. More than that, you're a 100-year-old beer that's spread all over the fucking planet. So, yeah, I don't see how you could do wrong. I really don't. But, that's just me. But, yeah, there you go. A happy, joy application of the old blockchain. And I think that's the part that a lot of people miss about the power of cryptocurrencies, is that they derive their power from your willing participation in them. They derive their value from your willing participation in them. So, again, I think you guys are missing out, Anheuser-Busch or InBev or whoever you guys really are. I think you ought to be looking at it from a Bitcoin perspective. Pull up the big boy pants. Invest in a mining farm. Maybe just one. Maybe half the size of your current fucking accounting section or whatever the hell. But I think you're absolutely right in the mentality that you can use this kind of tool to streamline your entire process. I just think you're going about it the wrong way. But that's just me. You could be calculating in how you're paying your employees, from the most basic shipping clerk all the way up to your CEO, compensating them in your coin according to its current valuation on the open market. I mean, that's not that hard to do, especially when you have global means of tracking the price of it. You go by an average over 5 municipalities. Asia, Europe, America, Russia, Australia, and Indonesia, and in that area. So I mean, you can track it on a global level via your own blockchain explorer, of course. And I think that's where it can really save you the most money. Depending on Accenture to do it, I think you're going to end up in the same position you are with depending on banks to do it. This gives everybody the capability of doing it on their own. Not just a bunch of nerds running around with their fucking miners in their closets and in their dorm rooms and shit. They're not the only people that can do this shit. Really. Drop trowel, throw it on the cutting board, and let's take a look at things. Hire a few of these devs, these blockchain devs. There's a dime a dozen out there now. Get them to work you up a coin, one that they're willing to support. Talk to some of these miners. Say, hey, you want to mine our coin? You don't have to do the ERC20 token, although I'm sure somebody has pitched it to you by now. But this goes for pretty much everybody out there, I think that's kind of the tragedy of cryptocurrencies, that we keep looking for other people to do it for us. It's like, why? You fucking do it yourself. You can do it for yourself. If you've got enough fans, if you've got enough people that are dedicated to your product, they like your product, you won't have any trouble paying for it because people will invest. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw back down into some music. I know it's kind of short in between, but wanted to keep it tight there. Anyway, I haven't been playing any of the newer prong, and I want to play something off 0 Days. So here it is, Divide and Conquer, here on Coin Metal. And that was Megadeth with Set the World Afire. I loved when that album came out. It was definitely I don't know how to say this. It was kind of a departure from where Megadeth was going with Peace Sells But Who's Buying. And in many ways, I still feel that album is slightly ahead of its time. When you listen to Hook and Mouth, that was, I say, too good for its time and would fit just fine with anything you would see on the radio today. I mean, easily. But I don't know, the PMRC isn't as big a problem for those in metal as it was. Anyway, got this other thing I came across, and we have hopes for it, at least slightly higher than Stablecoin. But here, let's go for it. Well, hold on one moment before I get too carried away with that, because I did see something else that I was kind of interested. Oh yes, here we go. This sounds really interesting. Honestly, this sounds as interesting as Stablecoins. So here we go, and this one's on CoinDesk.com. No fork guarantee. New cryptocurrency touts resistance to code splits. And this is by Mark Hochstein. So yes, penis. March 13th, 2018 at 20 UTC. Updated March 13th, 2018 at 20:32 UTC. The team behind a soon-to-be-launched cryptocurrency has issued the notable claim that it will be unforkable. Announced today, Hedera is a public network built on Hashgraph, a type of distributed ledger technology developed by the software company Swirlds, which has already deployed private versions with several enterprise clients. Hedera Hashgraph, the governing body for the network, raised $18 million through a private sale of the as-yet-to-be-named token in January. The sale, the company said, represented less than 20% of the total supply, so they have another 80% to dump on the market. Different than a blockchain, Hashgraph is billed as more secure, scalable, and fairer than either the proof-of-work mechanism securing Bitcoin or the permission systems that banks and other corporations have been experimenting with. The creators say the Hedera version can facilitate micropayments, distributed file storage, and support smart contracts out of the gate. And they've landed a prominent user, MZ, formerly Machine Zone, a game developer behind popular apps like Mobile Strike, said it would build distributed applications on top of the protocol. But perhaps what's most striking about Hedera is the use of a patented rather than open source codebase in an otherwise open network. While the code will be publicly reviewable and developers will be free to build applications on top of the network without a license, the governing body for Hedera says it will enforce the patent to prevent copying of the codebase or the creation of a competing platform and associated currency. Well, better not use it in China. Mance Harmon, a co-founder and the CEO of Swirlds, calls this situation, quote, transparency with stability. Quote, we can guarantee our platform will never fork, he told CoinDesk, adding that it will be, quote, one platform with one currency forever. While the option of forking is viewed by many in crypto as a positive, since it allows those unhappy with a particular project's direction to go their own way, not to mention sometimes providing free money to those who hold the original token, we view that as a hindrance to mainstream market adoption, Harmon said. Hedera's white paper lays out the rationale this way. Quote, the hard forks that Bitcoin and Ethereum have experienced have arguably damaged the network effect of their corresponding currencies, creating confusion and uncertainty in the marketplace. Similarly, the explosion of altcoins and the dubious legitimacy and value many of them have, does not engender the necessary confidence in business and consumers considering adopting cryptocurrencies. Swirlds, which patented the network technology, granted an irrevocable license to Hedera Hashcraft, the governing body, for use in the public network, according to Harmon. Visa as a model? In another departure from the usual setup of a public network, the actual governance process for Hedera is permissioned or restricted to only certain parties. I want to fork it already. Hedera Hashcraft consists of 39, quote, known and reputable organizations, according to the white paper, all of whom collectively own 2/3 of the supply of the network's token. Oh shit, so they're not going to all get dumped at once. Swirlds is one of the 39, and a spokeswoman said the other names would be announced in the coming weeks. Harmon said they include banks, as well as companies working in the healthcare, media, and legal industries. Quote, the goal was to make sure no single party has more or less influence over the network than any single party, said Harmon. All the 39 members are, quote, on par with one another, he explained. The model was the governing structure that D. Hawk used in 1968 to create National Bank Americard, which is known today as Visa. Again, not the usual cypherpunk inspiration. According to the white paper, the governing body will control the money supply and manage changes to the codebase. So what's the need for my participation in it? I don't understand. I mean, I'm not going to be I'm not going to be a code contributor because, well, you got 39 people to do that. Yeah, I don't understand the utility. I mean, maybe it's useful for Visa, and it seems like there are just multiple people competing for Visa's attention. It's like, use my network protocol. No, use my network protocol. No, use my network protocol. You know, they all want a piece of Visa instead of being their own thing. You know, but that's just my impression of it. Let's see here. I'm trying to find a clickable thing here that'll take me to the fucking white paper for this shit. I could swear I did read a white paper for Hashgraph at one point or another, and I could swear I determined right off the bat they were kind of scam malicious. But I don't know, I could be mistaken. You know, this could all be just Visa and Goldman Sachs' way of trying to encroach on the already existing markets created for cryptocurrencies, i.e. legitimate cryptocurrencies, ones that are actually mined. Instead of these ERC20 tokens, I don't think those should be sold on the same exchanges as altcoins and Bitcoin, but that's just me. You know, I think if it doesn't have its own blockchain, I don't think you can call it a cryptocurrency. But that, again, that's just my impression, my feeling. And I'm trying to find a article for, or at least this white paper for this fucking Hashgraph shit, or what is it here? The no fork coin. And again, why would you want to participate in a no fork coin? What if you don't like the direction they're going in? Now what? You just cut your hashing power and walk, or I don't know. Let's see here. It's Hedera. Supposedly there is a white paper in existence for this bad boy, and I'm strongly doubting it will take longer than the rest of the show to digest all of it. Oh, what the fuck? Why can't I just get Hedera in there? Ah, crap. Hedera. Great, now I'm going to have to type it in the dark here. Hedera. Alright. Hedera. Of course I misspelt it, because I'm typing in the dark. There we go. Hedera Hashgraph. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got to put in white paper. White paper. Here we go. Hedera Hashgraph. 76 pages. Suck one. Oh, I love their subset here. The trust layer of the internet. What the fuck? There's a lot of people talking that aren't including a lot of other people in their conversation here. But here, let's just read just a little bit of it. Their vision. The Hedera Hashgraph Council will provide governance for an open, fast, and fair decentralized public ledger built on the Hashgraph consensus algorithm. Governance will be maintained by a council of up to 39 known and reputable global organizations committed to the support and evolution of a stable, predictable public ledger infrastructure. Executive summary. Oh, thank God. Distributed ledger technologies are disrupting and transforming existing markets in multiple industries. However, in our opinion, there are 5 fundamental obstacles to overcome before distributed ledgers can be widely accepted and adopted across every industry and geography. In this paper, we will examine these obstacles and discuss why Hedera Hashgraph is ideally suited to be the world's first mass-adopted public distributed ledger supporting a vast array of applications. Number 1, performance. The most compelling use cases require hundreds of thousands of transactions per second. No, they don't. In a single shard, quote, perhaps millions of transactions per second, TPS, in a fully shared solution. And many require consensus latency measured in seconds. These performance metrics are orders of magnitude beyond what current public DLT platforms can achieve. 2. Security. If public platforms are to function to facilitate the transfer of trillions of dollars of value, we have to expect them to be targeted, and we have to prepare for this. To do so requires a consensus algorithm that provides the best security one can achieve with the security properties of the algorithm formerly proven. Vectors of security vulnerabilities shouldn't be shouldn't be mitigated. They should be eliminated entirely. Other public DLT platforms are trading off decentralization and so potentially compromising security for performance gains. 3. Governance. A general-purpose public ledger should be governed by representatives from a broad range of market sectors, each with world-class expertise in their respective industries and also selected to provide global geographic representation for all markets. Those that are governing need technical expertise so they can competently manage the technical roadmap. They need business expertise so they can manage business operations of the organization. They need expertise in economics and currency markets so they can manage the cryptocurrency. Oh, Jesus Christ. They need legal expertise to help navigate the evolving regulatory environment. In other words, governance should be by those globally recognized as world leaders in their respective industries and representative of every market in the world. 4. Stability. Without technical and legal mechanisms to enforce the decisions of the governing body, public platforms are at risk of devolving into chaos. Strong security and mature governance will enable a stable platform, one that engenders the necessary trust and confidence among those that would build commercial or sensitive applications on it. 5. Regulatory compliance. We expect that governments will continue to increase oversight of public ledgers and associated cryptocurrencies and tokens. We consider that a distributed ledger must be capable of enabling Know Your Customer and anti-money laundering checks. Yeah. Let's see here. Introducing Hedera, a governing body and public hashgraph network designed to address the needs of mainstream markets. Jesus Christ, man. Hedera will be governed by a council of renowned enterprises and organizations across multiple industries and geographies. The vision is a cyberspace that is trusted, secure, and without the need for central servers. its licensing and governance model protects the community by eliminating the risk of splitting. Guarantee. You know what? We're probably talking about a competing product for the other quote stable coin that we were talking about earlier. Dude, what the fuck is it with these people? You can't create a fucking stable coin. There's no point in a fucking stable coin. If it's stable, it's dead. If it's stable, it's not in circulation. Because somebody will have a different valuation for it than other people will. I don't understand. I mean, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm just a fucking idiot. And there's this way that somebody has figured out to make everybody pay the same amount of money, no matter what currency they use, no matter where they are, no matter what the premium on the product may be. Gonna make them all pay the same price, no matter what. I don't think I don't think anything in cryptocurrencies works like that. I don't think anything in conventional markets works like that. I think the reason we have markets is because some people want to pay one price and other people want to pay another price. If we didn't have that contrast, there would not be a market. Maybe I don't like the guy next to me. Maybe I want to pay less than him. Maybe I turn to you and I say, you know what? I need you to give me a deal. This guy's a dick, and I'm tired of dealing with this shit. And so, you know, I want you to give me a better deal. There goes the stability of your fucking coin. I mean, really now, what do you think business is? It's like the product of negotiations. Continuous negotiations and deliberations. It's like people forget that somebody actually has to do the work, you know. And so, like we were talking about, the other quote-unquote stable coin is going to base itself on Ethereum, a coin that is not stable. You can't divorce yourself from the instability. And if you can, it's because you're manipulating the volume and supply. And what good is that to me? If it's not gaining or losing value, what good is it to me? I can't short it. I can't long it. What good is it to me? It's a stable coin. Give me a fucking break. I mean, what gets me about it is if Bitcoin can be depended on, as it has been since 2011, as a medium of exchange, you don't have to retain it for two forevers. You just don't. You can get rid of it. You can sell it. If it's not as useful to you as a currency as another currency is, you can use it to exchange for the currency that you want. There's a fucking market out there available for you to do that. I mean, I know it takes a little bit more responsibility on your part to marshal and manage your funds digitally. I know. But you know, you gave up the necessity for somebody else to manage your money the moment you stepped into crypto, and nobody can fucking protect you from the volatility your coin experiences in the real world. Nobody. I don't give a fuck what algorithm they're using. I don't give a fuck what protocol they're using. I don't give a fuck about the mechanism. I do not care. You cannot do it without waving the magic wand and creating more units on the fly and waving it again and deleting units on the fly. You cannot fucking do it. I mean, the only way to get a quote-unquote stable coin is to be doing business with one other person. And even then, that person is going to want more over time of your coin. because they're going to have whatever coin it is that you're exchanging for. They're like, dude, I got some that I bought from you yesterday. I really don't need any more. And both of you are going to be sitting there looking at one another with that same problem. You need somebody else to exchange with it. Somebody who needs it. Somebody who wants it. And these are the kinds of things that I think people are trying to circumvent with this whole quote-unquote stable coin business. Is that they're trying to address the real and existing market and trying to provide some sort of illusion of safety. But you know what? That's all they can ever provide you is an illusion of safety. I mean, the only reason that our national currencies have the kind of stability that they do in the marketplace is because the bankers are behind the scenes devaluing and revaluing the currency. And I mean, there is some announcement out to the market, and the market does adjust to it. But they have to manipulate the volume. They have to manually adjust the volume in some way, shape, or form to compensate, to keep the value of the coin such that it's not so valued that you're hodling it, not so valuable that you're hodling it, and not so inexpensive that you're trying to stuff it everywhere into something that will retain value better than the coin. And so again, you're talking about an illusion of stability. You cannot compensate for market dynamism unless you have a significant volume of participants. And then people stop trying to set their own prices much. Okay, because if there's not a significant valuation jump up or down, what's the point of trying to trade arbitrage on time? There really isn't. It's going to retain its value, and there's no reason to do that. But yeah, as long as we have national currencies and we're not using the block interval as a way to determine things like how much to pay people. I mean, we should be using things like the profitability index on the coin for the amount of electricity that you have to put into it. And sure, there's going to be some differentials there, and there is going to be fluctuation over time, but it's not going to be as significant as trying to value it against a currency where somebody's on the other end waving the fucking magic wand, creating all that volatility. I mean, people want to blame that shit on us in cryptocurrency. They want to blame it on Bitcoin. They want to blame it on Litecoin. No. What are you buying the Bitcoin with? Are you buying them with yen? Are you buying them with Federal Reserve notes? Are you buying them with bolivars or rubles? All of these different currencies have different exchange rates for Bitcoin. And that determines your quote-unquote volatility, is your underlying monetary policy of the issuing agency. Whether that be the Federal Reserve, such as it is in America, or other such entity. And there are several, quote, central banks out there. But anyway, yeah, there's no compensating for you and the dynamism that you create. There is no substitution. These people can whack off in your ear all day long about stability, but you will fuck it up. That's what you do. You're a human. You will fuck up the stability of stuff. Even stable coins. Anyway, thank you very much for listening today. I certainly do appreciate the support. We will be back again on Friday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And so until then, I want you to trade safe. Do your homework. And watch out for your own bunghole, because nobody else can do it for you or even make it stable. Thank you again for listening. You can find me on Twitter, also on Facebook and YouTube. And also the Verge Currency Telegram room and the IRC room in as well. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening. And as far as what we're going to do for our last dance, I hadn't played any Meshuggah tonight. So let's go ahead and throw it down a little beneath off of Destroy, Erase, Improve Last Dance. Thank you again for listening, and you all have an excellent evening.